Understanding near-death experiences. Insights from around the world. People who've stared death in the face often tell stories that boggle the mind. Across continents, near-death experiences blur the line between reality and the unknown. Some say they floated above their bodies, watching frantic doctors fight to save them, their hearts pounding in the silence. Others describe stepping into tunnels of shimmering light, so pure and warm, it feels like being wrapped in endless love. Strangers from Tokyo to Buenos Aires speak of meeting beings made of light, kind eyes that don't judge, just understand. Their voices calm and steady, echoing wisdom that touches the soul like a whisper. Strangely, many recall seeing visions that seem too vivid to be random, memories from lives they never lived or even glimpses of future events. A mother in Nairobi described clutching her deceased child's hand in that strange place beyond breath. A man in Sydney swears he was shown the vastness of the universe unfolding like a cosmic map, but also warned of shadows lurking beneath the glow. These experiences share a haunting similarity, a sense of peace so deep it almost heals whatever pain lives inside. But behind that comfort lurks a secret, a dark, unsettling truth some dare not speak of. What if evil isn't just random harm, but part of a much bigger design? What if every scream, every tear, carries a hidden meaning tied to the very fabric of existence? Scientists, shamans, and skeptics all grapple with these stories. Some claim chemicals in the brain. Others say spirits. But no one can deny the intense emotions, the shaking hands, the pounding hearts, the sudden rush of cold fear when memories come back. It's like catching fire and water at the same time, pain and peace coexisting in the same breath. Tonight, one woman's story will take us deeper inside this mystery. A story of light and darkness, truth and deceit, love and the cruel weight of knowing too much. Claire, a psychologist who spent years healing broken minds, is about to face the most terrifying and beautiful part of her work, not in a quiet office, but hanging between life and death on a broken country road. What did she see? What did she learn in that limbo? And what terrifying secret now claws at her soul, threatening to shatter everything she's built? You're about to find out. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without warning. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any of the exclusive content coming up. And while you're at it, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, from which city are you watching? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Claire blinked. Light flooded her vision, blinding but oddly comforting. She felt weightless, like a balloon drifting in a gentle breeze. The scene around her shimmered, colors swirling like a painter's palette. Was she dead? The thought made her stomach drop. She had spent her life helping others navigate their pain, only to find herself dangling on the edge of existence. But then, a voice, a familiar one, cut through the haze. Claire, It was Sam, her colleague, her friend. "Can you hear me?" She turned, her heart racing. Sam was standing there, panic etched across his face. She wanted to reach out, to comfort him, but her body felt disconnected, heavy, as if it were made of stone. "Stay with me." His voice pierced the silence. "You're not alone. We can get you through this." A vision flickered at the edge of her mind. Her patients, their faces bright with hope, the one she fought tirelessly to heal. But suddenly, darkness tugged at the corners of her vision, and she felt a coldness wash over her. Panic clenched her chest. "Sam?" she gasped, the sound barely a whisper. "What's happening?" As if answering her, a flash of another world filled her senses. A shimmering landscape, vibrant and alive. It was almost overwhelming. She felt drawn to it, but fear held her back. Then, in the blink of an eye, everything shifted. The comforting glow shattered like glass. A scream erupted from somewhere deep within the darkness that surrounded her. It was a sound so raw, so full of despair, it jolted her back to the present. The screaming, it was coming from Sam. He crumpled to the ground, clutching his chest in agony. "Sam!" Claire cried, her voice finally breaking free. She watched in shock as he gasped, his eyes wide with terror. But as she rushed to him, a strange sensation coursed through her veins. She reached out, but her hand passed through his like a ghost. Confusion flooded her mind. "Claire, you need to run!" he shouted, a frantic fire igniting within his voice. "It's coming!" A tremor raced through the air, a foreboding energy that sent electric chills down her spine. Everything around her dimmed. The colors faded like chalk washed away by rain. "Please." Desperation clawed at her throat. Then everything clicked painfully into place. She remembered the talk of shadows, all those stories she'd heard about near-death experiences. But this was real. Then it hit her, a vision from her own past, a hidden truth. It struck like a lightning bolt. Her father's name flared in her mind, a name she had buried deep. He hadn't just died, he had vanished, leaving more questions than answers. Whispers of something dark surrounding his disappearance. "Claire!" Sam's voice broke through, urgent and terrified. "You don't understand. You have to remember who you really are." His words echoed in her head like a drumbeat, twisting with the weight of her own buried memories. What had she forgotten? Why did the dark feel so familiar? Suddenly, pain shot through her like ice. She gasped, feeling the pull of shadows circling them. "No, Sam." The darkness swallowed her whole, and she felt herself being pulled away, deeper into the unknown. What had she uncovered? Was Sam right? As she was consumed, the world faded, leaving only question marks in its wake. Where was the light now? And what price would she pay to uncover the truth? The darkness tightened around Claire, a cold grip that felt all too familiar. She fought against it, but it was as if the shadows were alive, clawing at her insides, pulling her deeper into a void that felt infinite. Sam's frantic warnings echoed like a siren in her mind, pushing her to remember, to fight. "Claire," he shouted, desperation in his eyes, "you need to focus. It's not just darkness. It's—" His voice trailed off. terror morphing his face. Then something shifted. A flicker of light caught her attention. Just ahead, through the billowing shadows, a figure emerged. At first, it appeared like a mirage, fluid, shimmering, a silhouette that radiated warmth. Hope ignited in her heart, but in the next moment, that hope turned to ice. The figure stepped closer, and Claire's breath hitched. "Dad?" The name escaped her lips, a whisper of disbelief. Standing before her was her father, the man she'd long mourned. The mystery of his disappearance hanging heavy in her life. He looked exactly as she remembered, but with an ethereal glow that made him seem almost otherworldly. "Claire," he spoke, his voice wrapping around her like a familiar blanket. "You found me at last." A wave of conflicting emotions surged within her. Joy crashed against fear. Memories battled against reality. "But how? I thought you were gone." "Not gone," he replied, his eyes deep pools of sorrow. "Trapped. It's not what you think, Claire. There's so much you don't know." A shiver ran through her as the shadows writhed, their presence tightening around them. Sam's screams pierced the silence like shattering glass. "You can't trust him." Sam's voice cracked with urgency, fire lighting his features. "He's part of it. The darkness." Her heart raced, confusion spiraling. Was her father truly there? Or was this just a cruel trick of the shadows? "What do you mean?" she yelled, panic becoming a tangible thing in her throat. "Listen to your friend," her father said, his voice dripping with a chilling calm. "I am not your enemy, Claire. I've come to help you break free. But to do that, you must choose." "Choose?" She felt the weight of the world pressing down on her, a weight of choice. "Choose what? My life? My past? Or you?" "Yes," he replied, a hint of shadow flickering across his features. "And this moment can only happen once. Don't let it slip away." "Claire," Sam's voice was frantic, shadows coiling tighter around him. "Don't listen. He's lying. Before Sam could finish, Claire felt an unbearable pain in her soul. A tear, a crack that opened a floodgate of memories. Her father's disappearance, the whispers of evil that had chased her throughout her life. The hurt she had buried deep. It all rushed back like a tidal wave. No, she couldn't do this. She wouldn't. But the comforting warmth of her father pulled her like gravity. "What happens if I choose you?" she asked, feeling the shadows pulse like a living thing. "Only then can we both be free," he said, reaching out for her. "Don't!" Sam's voice reverberated, breaking through the veil of her wavering heart. "Claire, you don't know what he means by free. You could lose everything." Everything? The word echoed in the emptiness, twisting her thoughts. What could she lose? Everything she had built? The life she lived for her patients? And then she knew, with gut-wrenching clarity, it wasn't just her life on the line, but was her identity, her very purpose. "Claire," her father urged, desperation tinging his voice. "Choose." Force seemed to swell in her chest. A battle of loyalty and love, light and darkness, hope and despair. She felt so lost, teetering on the edge of choice. In that moment, something shifted in the shadows. A violent tremor lifted from the ground, throwing her off balance. A deep, guttural growl filled the air, shaking her to her core. "Choose now," the shadows clamored, their voices merging into a chaotic storm. And just as Claire opened her mouth to speak, a blinding flash erupted around them. Light, dark, and then nothing. Then everything split apart. What had she chosen? And what now remained of her fractured existence? The blinding light shattered, and everything split apart. Claire felt herself unraveling, like threads pulled from a frayed tapestry. Then darkness. It engulfed her, but she was still there, suspended, waiting. Suddenly, a sudden roar pierced the silence. A roar that felt almost familiar, but also terrifying. She startled awake, gasping, her heart pounding against her ribcage like a trapped creature. And then she realized she wasn't in the shadowy realm with Sam and her father anymore. She was back on the broken country road, adrenaline coursing through her, the smell of burnt rubber and metal heavy in the air. Claire blinked against the harsh light, disoriented. Sam lay there, on the ground, panting and clutching his chest like it was the only lifeline he had. "We were," he whispered, disbelief etched across his features. "We were gone, and now we're back?" Before Claire could respond, something heavy crashed into the ground nearby. They both jumped, hearts racing, and turned to where the sound came from. A swirling mass of shadows formed in the distance, and from the darkness stepped a figure. The chilling sensation washed over her again, tightening her throat. It was her father, but he wasn't glowing or serene anymore. His face twisted in anguish, a haunted look in his eyes that didn't belong there. "Run!" he shouted, his voice laden with panic that echoed through the desolate landscape. "Dad?" Claire trembled, stepping toward him without thinking. "No, please, what's happened? I thought you were—" "Not safe. Not safe at all," he yelled back, staggering as if he were being pulled backward by unseen chains. Claire's heart raced, confusion shattering her thoughts. "Why are you here? What do you want?" And then she saw it, a flicker in the shadows behind him. There, amongst the swirling blackness, something else emerged. A creature, dark and manifesting from the depths of despair. Its form shifting, twisting, almost human, but utterly wrong. "No, this can't be happening," Sam shouted, pushing Claire back, shielding her. But Claire's gaze didn't leave the creature. She felt a knot tightening in her stomach, as the realization hit her like a punch to the gut. It had her father's eyes. The same deep pools of sorrow, but devoid of warmth or love. "Claire," the creature hissed, voice dripping with malice, "I am your true father, the one who has always fed on your fears." Everything shattered under that accusation. Claire blinked, the world around her warping. "No, that's a lie!" But doubt crept in, gnawing at her mind. She glanced at Sam, whose eyes were wide with shock. "It can't be true, Claire. You know him." "You felt him," Sam insisted, desperation blending with disbelief. But the creature stepped closer, enveloped in shadows, drawing nearer. "I was here all along, waiting for you to remember. Your father is merely a facade, a memory designed to protect you from what's real." Claire staggered back, her heart dropping. "Stop!" And then the air shifted dramatically. It crackled, like static rising before a storm. The creature lunged, shadows surging outward, twisting and thrashing wildly. The ground beneath them trembled. With a force Claire couldn't understand, everything brightened in blinding white light once again. The trembling, the shadows, the sinister whispers. She felt herself pulled away once more, thoughts twisting, emotions unraveling. "Claire, look!" Sam cried out, urgency pounding in his voice. "You have to." See. But just as she turned to catch a glimpse, everything blurred, and the world melted into chaos around her, leaving only screams and shadows tightening their grip. What was real? What if her father's love had always been a lie? And who could she trust as everything spun into darkness once more? The blinding light shattered, and everything split apart. Claire felt herself unraveling, like threads pulled from a frayed tapestry. Then, darkness. It engulfed her, but she was still there, suspended, waiting. Suddenly, a roar pierced the silence, a roar that felt almost familiar, yet terrifying. Heart racing, she jolted awake, gasping, the taste of metal clinging to her tongue. Was she back? Panic surged as she took in her surroundings. The broken country road was now littered with strange, undulating shadows and whispers of familiar voices. "Claire!" Sam's voice sliced through the chaos, a beacon of urgency. He stood nearby, wild-eyed and breathless, the weight of what had just transpired heavy between them. He looked over his shoulder, eyes darting, like prey sensing danger. "We've got to move! It's not safe here!" And then, from the swirling darkness, a figure emerged. Claire's breath hitched. It was her father, but his face was twisted in anguish. "Run!" he shouted, eyes wide with something darker than fear. "Dad?" Claire stammered, unsure whether to embrace him or recoil. "What's happened? I thought you—" "Not what you think," he yelled. "It's all a trap. You must listen." Before she could process his words, the air shifted violently. Sam grabbed her arm, pulling her back. "He's not who you think he is," Sam shouted, his voice frantic. "This isn't your father." But it couldn't be false, could it? The familiar warmth in her heart waged war against the icy dread creeping up her spine. The shadows thickened, swirling around her father, drowning him in darkness. He staggered, as if pulled by unseen chains. "Help me, Claire! I'm trapped!" "No," Sam's voice was tense, urgent. "He's lying. You know the truth, Claire." Just then, the darkness crackled. A horrific shape ripped through the gloom, prowling toward them like a predator, closing in on its prey. Claire's eyes widened as realization hit her like a slap. The creature bore her father's features, but twisted, corrupted, a grotesque mockery of the man she had loved. "Claire, it's time to choose," the creature hissed, voice dripping with malicious glee. "You can join me, embrace who you really are, or you can keep running from the truth." Her heart raced. "What truth? You're not my father. You're a monster." And then everything erupted. The shadows howled, the air howled with fury, and time itself seemed to distort. Claire stumbled back, a cold wash of dread cascading through her. The shadows coalesced, forcing her to see something. A hidden memory, a truth buried deeper than she knew. With terrifying clarity, Claire's past unfurled before her. A younger version of her father, standing beside a mirror, dark intent burning in his eyes. "You must do this for us, Claire, for the legacy," he had whispered, hand reaching toward her with a predatory gleam. "No, I won't do this." The memory exploded like glass. "I'm your true father, Claire." The creature lunged closer, and Claire felt something inside her snap. It wasn't just about fear anymore. It was about being hunted, a wretched legacy chasing her. The ground beneath them trembled, and the shadows morphed. Claire was trapped, torn between two truths. In that moment, the creature lunged, darkness flooding in like a tidal wave, consuming everything. The light flickered, fading, like fire flickering out. "Sam!" Claire screamed, but as she turned, her heart shattered. Sam was pulled back in, swallowed by the very shadows he fought against. She reached out, but it was too late. Then a blinding light erupted, consuming the darkness with a force that felt alive. And in that moment, time stopped. In the radiant glow, she saw a glimpse of Sam, a flash of pain and sorrow mixed with something else. There was something in his eyes, a deep knowledge that shattered the ground beneath her feet, something she had been blind to. As the light consumed the world around her, Claire's heart raced. What had she unleashed? What had she missed? And then she knew this was just the beginning. What lay ahead could change everything she believed in. The blinding light consumed everything around Claire, igniting something deep within her. She felt the warmth wrap around her body, a protective cocoon pushing back the shadows. But the moment didn't last. A pulsating darkness surged around them. "Where is?" Sam's voice trembled, eyes wide with fear. Desperation twisted his features. She turned to see if he was all right. There it was again. The creature, that grotesque figure, coiling closer. But this time, Claire felt something shift. A pulse, like a heart trying to remember its beat, reached her, and suddenly, it all came crashing back. Memories, emotions, fears, all of it flooded back, and she felt lightheaded. The answers were there, just out of reach. In that moment of vulnerability, a blinding light exploded again, not just around her, but within her. It coursed through her veins, igniting a fire of clarity. She could see everything. Memories flashing, an old attic, boxes of faded photos, her father's laugh echoing in the empty rooms. Then, a chilling realization struck like ice water to her soul. The figure distorted before her, shape-shifting into images from her past. "I've waited for you to see," it hissed, revealing a mouth twisted in a grin that wasn't quite right. "Join me. We can be powerful together." The shadows grew heavy, their whispers thick around them. It was her father, but not her father. Something deeper, something hidden. Claire's heart pounded. "You're not my dad. You're lying." But as the creature morphed, the face twisted again, showing glimpses of her childhood. Secrets locked behind her father's smile, and buried fears in the corners of her mind. "No, I'd rather die." A sudden crack echoed across the landscape. The very ground shook violently, sending tremors through her legs. Sam grabbed her, drawing her close, grounding her. "We have to get out." But before they could retreat, something shifted within the shadows again. A scream erupted, not theirs, but a shriek of despair that sent icy fingers crawling up Claire's spine. "Run," someone shouted. "You have to go now." In that beat, everything slowed. As she turned to move, the light flickered. Her father stood, a haunting silhouette behind Sam. "You're lost, Claire," he roared, and just like that, The darkness swallowed her heart whole. All at once, the atmosphere changed. A shrill laughter echoed in the air. In it, Claire felt panic boil. Was it her father's laughter, or that of the creature? "Wake up!" Sam shouted, shaking her as if to break the spell. But it was too late. The walls of reality began to crumble. Sam's scream was lost in a chaotic swirl, and Claire felt a jolt run through her. Then everything snapped. The ground beneath them gave way, clouds of darkness swirling like a vortex, and Claire found herself falling. She braced herself, breath catching, heart racing. Suddenly, a flash illuminated everything. A new figure formed at the center. A girl, younger, with familiar bright eyes and a confident stance. Claire blinked, her breath hitching. Mia? Mia was her sister. The sister she thought lost to the shadows long ago. "You shouldn't have come, Claire. You shouldn't have brought him." "What? Who?" Claire shouted, the world spinning around her. Mia stepped forward, the light around her flickering. "You're more connected to this than you know. He's not just a shadow, he's our legacy." Claire felt her stomach drop. What was Mia saying? The truth buried within her began to unravel like a tapestry, each thread revealing secrets of their family she had never known. "Mia, what do you mean?" And just when Claire thought the chaos couldn't intensify, the creature erupted back into view, shape-shifting between the figures of her father and Mia, enveloped in laughter that rang with malice. "Welcome home, Claire," it whispered, slowly turning to reveal a face that held both familiarity and horror. And with that, the final thread snapped. Everything Claire believed shattered. The shadows deepened, and darkness smoldered, leaving Claire gasping. "Who am I?" she cried, lost in a storm. But beneath that question lingered a darker echo. What other truths awaited her in the depths of this nightmare? And in that murky chaos, what would Claire truly become? The darkness twisted around Claire, the creature towering above her, a conflation of familiar faces morphing into something grotesque. The clash of light and shadow heightened the stakes, her pulse racing as confusion waged war against the truth. "Who am I?" she cried again, each heartbeat echoing with urgency. "Claire!" Sam's voice shone through the chaos, desperate. "You need to fight. Don't let it take your memories." The creature sneered, eyes glimmering with malice. "Memories are a burden. I can give you power, clarity. Let me show you." It reached out, shadowy hands stretching, and the air grew dense with the scent of despair. Just then, something incredible happened. A fissure ripped through the fabric of reality, an explosive crack that silenced the swirling shadows for a heartbeat. From this crack, a blinding light burst forth, illuminating everything, nothing remaining dark. It was a dazzling flash, bright enough to pierce the void, revealing the broken road and the swirling storm of shadow. And then she saw something that sent chills down her spine. Standing at the edge of the light, seemingly untouched by the chaos, was Claire's mother. But the shock wasn't just her presence. It was her expression, genuine yet twisted with an unsettling sadness. "Mom?" Claire gasped, disbelief flooding through her. "How are you here?" "You shouldn't have come back, Claire." Her mother's voice trembled, radiant but tinged with sorrow. You're leading them. Leading who? Claire's voice quivered, fear mingling with confusion. I don't understand. The creature laughed, the sound a knife slicing through the moment. Your mother is part of this, Claire. She knows everything you've hidden. Claire felt the ground shift beneath her, memories colliding with reality. Her mother moved closer, defiance flaring in her eyes. Listen to me. It's not what you think. I was trying to protect you from him. Protect me? The words burned, stinging like fire. You let me believe you were gone. Suddenly, there was a shift. The creature lunged, taking advantage of the wavering resolve. The shadows reacted, whirling into a vortex, and Claire felt herself being pulled toward it. A force both powerful and cold. No, she screamed, ready to fight against the tide. But in that moment, her mother stepped between them, arms outstretched. Don't fight it, Claire. You must let go. Let go? Claire's voice cracked, terror tightening around her throat. You want me to give in? And in a heartbeat, a shocking clarity washed over her. The creature grinned, teeth sharp, darker than the void. You see? She's right. You were destined to join me all along. Don't you understand, Claire? Your mother is as much a part of this darkness as I am. Heart racing, Claire looked from her mother to the creature, confusion spiraling. Mom, is this true? Are you part of this evil? I had no choice, Claire. Her mother's voice trembled, but the depths of her eyes held a truth Claire couldn't ignore. You were meant to be the key to an ancient pact. It's what our family has guarded for generations. Before Claire could respond, the ground rumbled violently, shadows thrashing as if alive. You must choose, the creature shrieked, unleashing a storm of darkness that sent a shockwave through the surroundings. In that burst of chaos, something snapped. Claire's heart raced as clarity hit her like a sledgehammer. You didn't just want to keep me safe. You wanted to use me. No! Her mother's voice cracked with desperation. I wanted to save you from the truth. As the shadows closed in, Claire's vision sharpened. You've lived in lies, she yelled, rage and sorrow entwined. I won't carry this legacy any longer. Light pulsed within her, a flicker of hope ignited. But with it came a realization. Her mother was not just a bystander. She held an unimaginable power within her, one that could tear apart the very fabric of their existence. What is the truth? Claire demanded, pushing against the tide. What happens now? And just as the darkness lunged forward, claiming the space between them, Sam cried out, Claire! With that single word, everything froze. The shadows recoiled momentarily, revealing glimpses of memories reflected on Claire's face. Choices, painful confessions, secrets waiting to be unearthed. Then, it hit her like a tidal wave. Could it be that she was meant to control the shadows? What if they weren't just evil? What if everything she had believed? And at that moment, with the shadows swirling and light flickering out, Claire stood at the precipice, holding the weight of centuries in her hands. Claire, Sam shouted again, panic edging his voice. Make your choice. But amid the chaos, shadows closed in, and with a final was inside her. And who would be left standing once the truth was finally unveiled? The darkness twisted around Claire, the creature towering above her, a conflation of familiar faces morphing into something grotesque. The clash of light and shadow heightened the stakes, her pulse racing as confusion waged war against the truth. "Who am I?" she cried again, each heartbeat echoing with urgency. "Claire!" Sam's voice shone through the chaos, desperate. He stood nearby, wild-eyed and breathless, the weight of what had just transpired heavy between them. He looked over his shoulder, eyes darting, like prey sensing danger. "We've got to move. It's not safe here." And then, from the swirling darkness, a figure emerged. Claire's breath hitched. It was her father. But his face was twisted in anguish. "Run!" he shouted, eyes wide with something darker than fear. "Dad?" Claire stammered, unsure whether to embrace him or recoil. "What's happened? I thought you—" "Not what you think," he yelled. "It's all a trap. You must listen." Before she could process his words, the air shifted violently. Sam grabbed her, pulling her back. "He's not who you think he is," Sam shouted, his voice frantic. "This isn't your father." But it couldn't be false. Could it? The familiar warmth in her heart waged war against the icy dread creeping up her spine. The shadows thickened, swirling around her father, drowning him in darkness. He staggered as if pulled by unseen chains. "Help me, Claire. I'm trapped." "No." Sam's voice was tense, urgent. "He's lying. You know the truth, Claire." Just then, the darkness crackled. A horrific shape ripped through the gloom, prowling toward them like a predator closing in on its prey. Claire's eyes widened as realization hit her like a slap. The creature bore her father's features, but twisted, corrupted, a grotesque mockery of the man she had loved. "Claire, it's time to choose," the creature hissed, voice dripping with malicious glee. "You can join me, embrace who you really are, or you can keep running from the truth." Her heart raced. "You're not my father. You're a monster." And then, everything erupted. The shadows howled, the air howled with fury, and time itself seemed to distort. Claire stumbled back, a cold wash of dread cascading through her. The creature lunged, taking advantage of the wavering resolve. The shadows reacted, whirling into a vortex, and Claire felt herself being pulled toward it, a force both powerful and cold. "No!" she screamed, ready to fight against the tide. But in that moment, her mother stepped between them, arms outstretched. "Don't fight it, Claire. You must let go." "Let go?" Claire's voice cracked, terror tightening around her throat. "You want me to give in?" And in a heartbeat, a shocking clarity washed over her. The creature grinned, teeth sharp, darker than the void. "You see, she's right. You were destined to join me all along. Don't you understand, Claire? Your mother is as much a part of this darkness as I am." Heart racing, Claire looked from her mother to the creature, confusion spiraling. "Mom, is this true? Are you part of this evil?" "I had no choice, Claire." Her mother's voice trembled, but the depths of her eyes held a truth Claire couldn't ignore. "You were meant to be the key to an ancient pact. It's what our family has guarded for generations." Before Claire could respond, the ground rumbled violently, shadows thrashing as if alive. "You must choose," the creature shrieked, unleashing a storm of darkness that sent a shockwave through the surroundings. In that burst of chaos, something snapped. Claire's heart raced as clarity hit her like a sledgehammer. You didn't just want to keep me safe, you wanted to use me. No, her mother's voice cracked with desperation. I wanted to save you from the truth. As the shadows closed in, Claire's vision sharpened. You've lived in lies, she yelled, rage and sorrow entwined. I won't carry this legacy any longer. Light pulsed within her. A flicker of hope ignited. But with it came a realization. Her mother was not just a bystander. She held an unimaginable power within her, one that could tear apart the very fabric of their existence. What is the truth? Claire demanded, pushing against the tide. What happens now? And just as the darkness lunged forward, claiming the space between them, Sam cried out, Claire. With that single word, everything froze. The shadows recoiled momentarily, revealing glimpses of memories reflected on Claire's face. Choices, painful confessions, secrets waiting to be unearthed. Then it hit her like a tidal wave. Could it be that she was meant to control the shadows? What if they weren't just evil? What if everything she had believed? And at that moment, with the shadows swirling and light flickering out, Claire stood at the precipice, holding the weight of centuries in her hands. Claire, Sam shouted again, panic edging his voice. Make your choice! But amid the chaos, shadows closed in, and with a final plunge into darkness, Claire's world shattered. Could she escape what was inside her? And who would be left standing once the truth was finally unveiled? As darkness, threatened to pull them apart, something unexpected happened. The ground beneath Claire cracked open. A blinding light burst from the fissure, revealing a hidden chamber, glowing with otherworldly energy. Claire, jump! Sam yelled, urgency flooding his voice. In a moment of instinct, Claire leapt into the light. The shadows screamed, and as she crossed the threshold, she felt the darkness tugging at her. But the light consumed her, wrapping around her like a cocoon. When she landed, everything was different. The air shimmered with unfamiliar energy, the walls pulsing with life. She looked around, breathing heavily. Where are we? But then, her gaze fell upon a reflection, an enormous mirror, perfectly still, housing not just her image, but something beyond her. As she stepped closer, every doubt, every hidden truth laid bare. In the reflection, she saw herself older, stronger, dark power swirling around her. But more shocking than that, she saw Sam standing next to her, transformed, wearing the same weight of that darkness. Her breath caught. Sam? Suddenly, the mirror flickered, revealing not just images of them, but flashes. Her mother's face twisted in pain, her father's plea echoing through the chamber. The truth will set you free, or bind you forever. Before Claire could grasp the meaning, the reflection shattered into thousands of shards, each fragment glowing ominously. As her heart raced, she felt a jolt of adrenaline. Something was coming. What's happening? Sam shouted, pulling her back. No, wait, Claire breathed, her heart pounding. We have to find the truth. But suddenly, a figure emerged from the shards. Her father, but not his physical form. It was a shadow, a specter of regret, regretfully beautiful. You must listen, Claire. You are the joiner of worlds. What do you mean? She gasped, the pieces falling into place, yet shrouded in mystery. The figure swept closer, eyes wide with revelation. You must choose the light, or risk the darkness consuming all of us. With that, the fragments exploded, echoing with a finality that sent waves through Claire's very soul. Her mind raced. What would she choose? What darkness slept within her? What was the true nature of her father's plea? And could they bear the weight of the answers together? But the mirror was still flickering, battling between light and shadow, tugging at her fears and promises. With a deep breath, Claire faced the cascading shards, ready to uncover the truth, not just for her, but for everyone caught in the web of lies. What was real? And in the aftermath of everything she had known, who would she ultimately become? Claire stood before the mirror, breathless. The energy inside shimmered, revealing not just her reflection, but a swirling past, a crushing weight of secrets. Sam's voice pulled at her, raw with urgency. Make your choice. Claire, we can't stay here. The figure of her father loomed, shadow flickering between urgency and despair. Just as Claire reached out, a blinding light erupted from the mirror. She shielded her eyes as a furious wind swept through the chamber, trapping them in a tempest of light and shadow. The sound was deafening, a cacophony of cracking glass and whispers echoing her name. And then, everything changed. In one shattering moment, the mirror fractured, sending shards flying in every direction. Claire felt something pierce through her heart. No, not the glass. Something deeper, something buried beneath layers of confusion. With each shard that landed, she heard screams. Her voice mingled with others, hurling warnings and pleading cries. Run! Get out! Sam's grip tightened on her wrist, pulling her back as shards hit the ground. But amidst the chaos, a figure emerged from the shards, taking shape. Something dark shifted, transforming into a long-lost friend. Mia? Claire whispered. No, it can't be you, Sam shouted, disbelief flooding his face. You're gone. But there she stood, the girl Claire thought she lost forever. Yet Mia's eyes were filled with a darkness that sent chills down Claire's spine. You're tricked, Claire. This is all a game. What do you mean? Claire's stomach twisted. The truth hung heavy in the air, vibrating with tension. What's happening? The fractured reflection of Mia began to morph into dark shapes. Twisted smiles and sinister laughter echoed around them. You're both too late, she said, voice low and haunting. It's all been a lie. You've been caught in our web. What web? Claire felt her chest tighten. She glanced at Sam, who looked equally confused. Fear reflecting in his eyes. Suddenly, the darkness surged, enveloping them. With a flash of rage, Claire shouted, No, I won't let you do this. But her voice was lost in the chaos. My real father, he's not just someone in the shadows, Mia continued, her expression shifting between anguish and determination. He's part of something larger, something unnatural that is bent on claiming you. You're the key to it all. The world around them spun violently. Sam stepped back, eyes wide, as he processed the words. What do you mean, Claire is the key? Is that what this is about? Then why did you come back, Mia? Mia's voice dropped, solemn. Because I've been sent to end this. That's why. I was never lost. I was watching, waiting to pull you from the darkness. Stop! Claire cried, her voice breaking. This is insane. I won't let you take him from me. The shadows encroached, filling the space with chilling whispers. Then, as if answering, A crack echoed, the dark specter of her father, morphing into a silhouette that swallowed everything in its path. "Why do you think I left you, Claire?" His voice trembled, sadness laced with eerie menace. Claire stared, heart racing. You did this." "Yes," he replied, the shadows curling around him. "You were meant for this. This world can't be saved. It needs a new ruler." Mia's expression turned to one of alarm. "No, don't listen to him, Claire." But before Claire could respond, something shifted in the air, a pulse of energy as the ground shook beneath them. Sam grabbed Claire, pulled her against him, his breath heavy with panic. The chamber erupted. Light exploded, engulfing them in brightness. Claire felt herself pulled apart, heart racing as the truth crashed into her. And then, silence. Everything stilled, and for a moment, Claire felt a rush of peace. But as she opened her eyes, she did not stand in the chamber anymore. She found herself on the outskirts of a town, one she recognized but had never stepped foot in. The air smelled of nostalgia, but alongside it was dread. "Welcome home, Claire," echoed a familiar voice she wished she hadn't heard. And as she turned, her heart trembled. There, standing before her, was herself, a version that wore shadows like a cloak, darkness gleaming in her eyes. "What have I become?" Claire gasped, the world around her dimming. But laughter erupted, sinister and sweet. The darkness twisted into clarity. "You are home, all that you feared, all that you ran from, bound by the truth. Embrace it all." Had she truly been lost all along? Would she find a way back? As the other Claire smiled, sinister and inviting, Claire felt the grip of her power. And within that moment, everything she once knew about love, family, and identity shattered like glass, leaving only a rising tide of questions. What now became of her? And could she escape at all? As Claire faced the twisted reflection of herself, the shadows surged forward, an ominous tide threatening to engulf her. Her father's specter loomed over her, but in that moment, something inside Claire crystallized. "No!" she shouted, voice ringing out with a strength she didn't know she possessed. "I won't be part of your darkness." Sam stepped beside her, taking her hand firmly. "We can fight this together." His words sparked a flame that ignited her spirit. With a sudden movement, Claire focused on the light within her, the warmth that had flickered amid the chaos. "I choose the light," she declared, decisively breaking through the waves of shadow. As she said the words, the mirror shattered completely, sending shards of glass spiraling into the air, each reflecting a moment of truth, a moment of choice. The darkness recoiled, shrieking in rage. The world around them brightened, colors swirling back into existence as light banished the shadows. Her father's figure warped, revealing the anguish and sorrow that had woven his past. "You have to realize," he began, but Claire's heart filled with resolve. "I see you for what you truly are," she said, finding clarity in the relationship she had with him. "I will not let our past trap me any longer. With her words, the specter began to fade, drawn back into the void from which it came, leaving only a faint echo. Claire felt the weight lift. "Mia!" she called out, hoping her sister would return. As, if summoned by the call, a radiant light spilled forth, and Mia emerged, glowing with a strength Claire had never witnessed before. "You faced them! You did it!" "I needed to find you," Claire breathed, relief washing over her. Sam stepped closer, a mix of awe and joy in his expression. "But the shadows, they're still out there." "Not anymore," Mia said, raising her hands. "Together, we can seal the darkness, create a barrier between our world and theirs." The three joined hands, their combined strength pulsing through them like electricity. Light burst from their connection, illuminating the chamber and driving shadows back. They felt the ripple of energy spreading outward, sealing the fractures that had threatened their existence. The air shimmered, and Claire felt a sense of belonging that she had never known, a rich tapestry of shared experience weaving them together. "We can be free of this," she whispered, hope surging like a wave. In that moment, the chaos around them quieted. The swirling shadows began to dissolve, shadows of fear lifting like fog, carrying with them the remnants of sorrow and regret. As the last traces faded, Claire glanced around, taking in the newfound serenity. "What now?" she asked, uncertainty creeping back into her heart. "We rebuild," Mia replied, the light flickering softly around her. "Together, we carry the stories, but let go of the pain." The three of them stood side by side, a triumphant family once more, united in purpose. They faced the horizon, distant yet inviting, a world filled with uncertainties, but also endless possibilities. "Thanks for fighting with me," Claire said, glancing at Sam and Mia, gratitude spilling from her heart. "I'll always be here," Sam promised, squeezing her hand. "We can face anything together." As the sun broke over the horizon, illuminating the path ahead, an exhilarating sense of freedom washed over them. Claire took a deep breath, finally feeling the weight of the past lift as her heart filled with hope. But in the distance, a whisper of shadows remained, a lingering question. What if darkness never truly disappears? And that's when they heard it, a low growl echoing through the air. It sent shivers down their spines, but Claire faced it, ready for whatever came next. Before they could react, a flicker of movement caught her eye, a shadow darting at the edge of the light. But whatever awaited them, they would meet it together. Now this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to know how it ends. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel with these actions. Your voice matters. Make it heard.